Hello, hello. Happy Friday. We changed some platforms, and the last one I needed to wait a little bit before I said anything. So hopefully this went off without a hitch. Um, but thank you so much for showing up. I always say that. Always say I get super excited, and it's just people investing their time into Charity Engine, and it's my goal to be helpful and in this manner. So again, just thank you so much. I know it just saying it really means a lot to me that you took your time. Even if you don't show up and you get the recording, you're gonna watch it. And it just makes me feel good. So thank you so much. I'll be quiet. I'll be quiet. The usual stuff. The chat, ask the questions. Like I said, it's going to be recorded. We're going to send it. I think that's it, right? They call that the housekeeping. That's all. No big deal. So this one is the dynamic lists. Like I've shown this a couple times. I want to show it one more time because I think it holds a lot of value. And then maybe we'll take a small poll after this to see because I think this is maybe the second or third time. And if it's not hitting home and it's not valuable, that's the kind of feedback that we're looking for. We won't touch on it again. But let's get into it, right? So what am I talking about? Dynamic list assignment. I'm talking about this specific scenario. Every time a contact is added to your database, you will want to automatically wrangle them up into a query and add them to a list. And maybe this doesn't have to be like a newsletter list per se, but can be, so that then on the next roll of the newsletter list, right, they're getting an introduction um, into your organization, right? But this may also be like welcome, right? Tell you a little bit about, right? We just kick it off from the beginning. Like, this is thank you for registering, donating, however you got in here doesn't really matter, but thank you for being here. You're a new contact in our database and our CRM. This is kind of what we're about. This is what we do. And then some call to actions there as well. Go read some stuff, right? Some compelling material. Hey, Uzo, can you what do they
Sorry,
call it?
I
Mute?
was not muted.
No, you're sorry. No
Apologies.
reason to be sorry. No, don't apologize. It's fine. It's fine. Um, let's see. Right. So that's the strategy of what we want to do here. That's the strategy. Capturing and so you're like, hey, Brian, don't we do that on forms? Don't we add lists to forms when people come in and they get added and they go? Yes, they do. Hey, Brian, in advocacy, don't they fill it out and get added to a list there? Yes, they do. So what's the big deal here, Brian? Well, the big deal is that contacts get added in other ways as well. And we want to make sure that each time the contact is added, they're treated the same way as you're treating the people who are coming in from the public assets. So what's a way that it can happen? Manual. I just create one contact on the fly. There's no list assignment there. You'd have to go manually add the list assignment there for that to happen, for them to get like the welcome email, right? So there is that leaves it up to um, human defect, right? So another example is, and this is manual as well, but import you from another application. One of the we had a client who did some like movie night things. I always use this example because I thought it was really cool. And they were collecting information at the movie night. And I could back that up and say they should be probably electronically collecting the information, but that's something we work on a lot, right? But they're out there collecting the information regardless. They bring it in. They put a spreadsheet in with 10 new contacts, right? Who are interested or would not have shown up at the movie night, right? Let's be honest. And then we get them in through the importer, not connected to any lists, right? So how do you communicate with them, right? Not sure, not sure, right? And then let me think. There's also a use case here for bringing people in and then suppressing them as well. Okay, so it's like this is a special group of people that we're advertising to. They're going to come in electronically, automatically. And instead of adding them to a list, we want to suppress them from a list. And I just want to make sure that everyone understands that we have that capability. It's called very simply, it's called the suppression list, and it follows you around every time you send an email, right? Let me just show you that right away because there's really not much to that besides saying get these people into a query. Am I in the right place? I am, right? Campaigns, default settings, I believe. again, um, we'll see. Global suppression query. Here it is, right? And what does it do? It brings up all the queries you have in your instance, right? So make it easy. All you need to do is create the filter criteria for this suppression list and then add it here. And the idea is we tag this list along, we pull it along into the email blast workflow when you send an email, and we make sure that these people don't get emailed, right? Um, Board members who don't want to be on an email roll could be a criteria here. I didn't really gather the details from the client who asked about this, right? But there was a client who asked. I don't think they ended up using it because I think they were worried about getting it into communications. Those communications didn't exist yet, so they're like, we're fine for right now, right? But just saying, there's use cases out there for the suppression query, and you can totally use it here. And again, the idea is you need query builder, you need that filtering, any kind of filtering, right? So if people are coming in off a form and being tagged as do not email, all you would do is build that query, pull the people in from that form, add that suppression query here, and those people will not be emailed until you're ready. Then you can release that query here, save it, and you're going to push them out into the wild, and they can start getting those communications, right? So any questions with that, you can always put in a case about that. I'm not sure if we have any articles that go into details about that, because I think we leave it up to, it's really the complexity is using the query, right, for sure. So it's like making sure I have my query results correct, so I'm not suppressing people I don't need to. Even though it's an easy query, it's a query. And I recognize that query builder can be complex, but we're going to use it again right now. So this will be, I think I said, the third time I've showed you this dynamic list. And again, I said it before and I'll say it again. I don't want you to be afraid to use the query. It's okay. I'm showing you exactly what to do for this one. The filtering is extremely simplistic. Off we go. Thank you for the diversion there to the suppression query. So what do we need? Again, we're taking people who are created, we're going to say today, and then let's say at night, we're going to add them to the lists so that the next day they're ready to get that communications, right? So we need a list for sure. And I don't know if we have a list here. I'm just going to create one, okay? List management, opt-in lists. And again, just to reinforce, the opt-in list is the shell. It's a housing unit. The contacts are in there, but dispersed through the CRM. There's no collection of contacts here with the list. What do I mean? I mean this right here. It's got a size of 1. You know what I mean? It's here. If I drill through, what's going to happen? It's going to take me to the contacts section where the dispersed contacts are gathered together in the list, right? I wanted to say that as well. So this is a great way to look at your contacts if you need to look at them from the list, right? I'm just going to create a new one manually. And I will call this, boy, I'm moving fast today, huh? Calm down, Brian. Let's see. Name is going to be a new welcome list. It's active. I'm not going to do anything else to it. I'm just going to save it. That's it. Very generic, right? So then what are these other tabs here, right? Okay, online. What could you do? You could give it a public facing name. So internally, the list means something else to what it does to the public facing. Where do they see it? When they click on subscribe. So it has continuity to your preferences, right? Under the advanced, we have, send to disease. I don't know why people want to send to disease, but there you go. You have the option. Somebody said they wanted it. There you go. Sender name, reply name, sender email. Okay, heads up, right? You cannot apply a sender email unless you have a vanity domain for email sending. I just want to say that if you put an email address here, like your domain email address, the email is going to fail, and it's going to say invalid sender email address, right? Just know that. That is an upsell that we have. What does it do? It takes your email domain and applies it to the actual sender of the email, right? And then there's also the effect there that you can take that domain and put it into an isolated sending pool. What does that mean? You're responsible now for your own reputation with inside this pool using that domain, right? There's plenty of advantages and benefits to doing that, but I just wanted to tell you, if you ever see that error, it's because you have entered into here something, right? At .your org, right? I just wanted to say that, right? Then here's the default recipient name. Great, we have a list created, no big deal. What else do we need? We need a couple new contacts, right? Just want to see my list. I like seeing it. Contacts, excuse me, let's see my list and leave it open over here. It's just Brian being peculiar. I like seeing things today. And there it is. All right, so I'm gonna create a couple contacts here, no big deal. Person. All right, we'll just call this May. What was there? And we'll do an email address. May.net. Some capitalization there I saw, but no big deal. I don't want to view the record. I want to create another. Okay, this is April. What was there? Thank you for your patience. 2 capitalization mistakes there. That's awesome. Okay, so should have 2. If I go back, it should take me to the list page because I have the list open in the other tab, of course. But let me go to the contacts here. I want to do the same thing there again. Just this is peculiar to me. I want to see what I created today. I want to see it on the listing screen, and I have it both here. 2 of them. Okay, so I'm just prepping. You're not going to create the contacts. The contacts are going to be created automatically. Totally know that, right? April and May, they came in via manually yesterday, or excuse me, this morning from someone who put them in, right? Et cetera, et cetera. So we have the list. We have some people that can go into the list here, right? So then we need the query. Okay, I just want to show you. I'm just going to build the query. This is not any type of training on queries for sure, right? But this can totally be a canned query that you can use for gathering up contacts created today. It's extremely simplistic. I'm going to show you. Create new. We know we're targeting contacts, so it's going to be a contact query. So just click continue. Once we get in here, we know that we need contact ID. This is a rule in the query builder. So we have to have contact ID here. Just because I like to see this particular stuff, I'm just going to pull out the full name here. Date created is going to be today. Well, how do we get that in there? We use this formula button. So formula today, alphabetical order. Today. Simple as that. I run it. I bet you I see these 2 people. There they are. And I just do the full name just to see, right? What's going on. I just like that. You may have some other data that you like to see in here. Of course, everyone's different, right? But I think this is the basics of what you need. I'm pretty sure all you need here is contact ID. I'm going to save this and I'm going to call it contacts created today. Oh, does anybody know about categories? Right, we had that come up a bunch as well. And I'll show you why. Let me save this one and then we'll go over there, okay? I'm going to close this. You'll see in the configuration section, if you look up categories, you're going to see reporting query categories, right? So this is a way that you can assemble your queries without having to look through the whole role. You know, we have searching there, so it's totally applicable, right? Naming conventions, search for names, totally come up. But this is a way to group them together. So I'm just going to create a new category, and I'm going to call it automation jobs. And I'm going to save. Okay, great. That's it. So then when I go back to the query screen, I can then land on the query screen and I can be like, give me my category, right? I'm looking for all my automation jobs, right? Well, I guess I have to save it with the automation category, right? Very good, Brian. Very good. Excellent. Okay, here we go. Contacts created today. Save. Category selection, automation job, save. Now it's going to be there, right? For sure. In fact, I'll just come out. I'll go back through the menu bar to show you automation, queries. And this is absent of any filtering. I just want to say that. Well, I mean, this is a filter, but absent of any other filtering, right? No date time stamps, no anything. Just give me all my automation jobs, and they come up here, right? So what effect does this have? It's shortening the scope of you finding what you need, and it's shortening the scope of understanding what the queries do, right? Because once you start creating like sub queries and things like they should be together, where you can view them and see them. Also, what else this does is, and here was the root of the question that we had this week was why some of these contacts created today, why some of these I can delete and others I can't. You know what they wanted to do? They would simply wanted to clean up this screen because it was messy to them. So categories is how you do that. I want to say that, right? So there's a filter here as well. I don't know if you saw, but underneath the advanced filter, I can actually pick the user here, right? So I can be like Brian Moser automation jobs, and then only my automation jobs are going to show up here like that, right? So it can be used in a combination with additional filtering as well. Just wanted to say that. But this one can be deleted because it has no dependencies. What does that mean, Brian? What does that mean? It means that it's not used in any reporting, scheduled jobs. It was not used to send as an email audience, right? It was not used in any export fashion. Doesn't have to be a scheduled job, just export it. If I officially export this once, we lock it where you can't delete it on purpose, because now it's tied to an import export job or an export job, right? And we're not going to orphan that job. We're not going to do it. We're going to preserve this. If you create a subquery, we do not allow you to delete for obvious reasons, right? The subquery is very critical to the query itself, the original query. So I just wanted to say that categories are great, right? Thank you again for letting me divert on that. I'm going to show you here in a second. Once we run this, you're going to see the delete option go away, and I'm going to go back and show you, right? So I just wanted to touch base back here really, really quickly. And I'm doing this on the fly like I always do. Um, so we'll see, you know what I mean? But I do believe this is absolutely the most simplistic way you can get this done with the query. And again, if we run it, we see our data. So I'm going to take the query and I'm going to export it. All right, my data. Is everything okay? It's just a problem with internet connection. It's been restored. Can everybody hear me? Uzo, am I all right?
You froze for maybe about 10 seconds, but you're
I'm
good
back
now.
now, right?
Yeah.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, joking. Okay.
We're
All
good.
I said was, did you see me export this? Begin the export process?
You're not frozen. Keep going.
Okay, fair enough. I turned the email notifications off here. That's just my particulars in this. I'm exporting this job, right? Settings, next, review what I've done here in process, right? Piece of cake. Yep, I do want to continue. I'm exporting it. I want to view the job status, right? We have those options there. If you know what you're doing, and this is a repeating job, you can jump right into scheduling that job. You can see that on that screen on that modal. Okay, it's what I expected. It's 2 rows. It's finished, right? No problem. Now, if I go back here, I'm going to show you. This is a simplistic example, right? We're going to put it into a trigger, but I just wanted to show you that when you go to the query after this has been exported, you're not going to have the delete option there anymore. There you go, right? It's gone. Wait a minute, there is a delete option, bulk delete, right? Please, please do not think that somehow this is bulk deleting multiple queries. This is going to bulk delete the results of your query. And if it's a contact query, we're going to delete those contacts, right? I want to call that out as well, right? There's been some confusion there, right? So please, if this has been exported and now it's here, it's an automations job, it's going to stay here, right? If this job becomes stale and you don't use it anymore, what do? You create a new category called inactive queries. Just add all of them to that category. As well, you could just simply make the query inactive, right? Here it is. It's yes, right? So if you just click this, people don't know you can click here on this, right? But you can. If I click this, it'll go to no, and then I can filter by active, yes or no. So then only my actives come up. Then only my active automation jobs come up, and then only my active automation jobs come up by this particular user, right? Okay. So I have my list. I have some new contacts that were created today. I have my query that's identifying those contacts. And now I need to use the magic. The magic is a trigger job called contact list assign, right? So it's over here in automation, of course, under workflow and under triggers. You know, and this is like the polling thing I talked about, and I don't know. If anybody wants to chime in here and just say yes in the chat if you want to, it's not necessary. But Uzo and I were talking, we were thinking that maybe this could be a good candidate for like a new communication series, so that then the query can be created automatically, and then that welcome email, will be there. I don't know. Do we have anything like that? I'm just going to go check real quick. Lots of diversions here today. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Because the CRM's updated all the time. Just go make sure, see what kind of stories we got here. Payment received. New contacts who opt in to receive email. That might work there, right? New contents who act. So yeah, I'll take a look at that. That might work, but that's not going to connect it to the list. Then you need the comp series, right? So it's just going to change the way we work and do that. So let's hold off on a minute as adding any enhancements. I'll go through this and see. So this way the query can be built for you and you don't have to do that. And then you just need to build the com series, I believe, but I would have to check this and see. But I'm pretty sure everybody is down for not having to use Query Builder if you don't need to. I probably don't even need to ask about that, right? Okay, great. Workflows, trigger jobs, right? So we have these types here, contact list assign, right? I'm showing you the trigger function, and you can jump off at this point and play with these if you want. We can create soft credits, create opportunities, create activities. These are powerful things that you can do in the CRM. My suggestion is to say, I have a query that simply calls out me, my contact in the database. That's all you need to do to play with these triggers, and then just take the trigger and add it, right, and see what's going on. So it's like, to create an activity, what do you need to create an activity, right? You'll learn through doing that, and put in a case if you need some help, right? But these are not really heavy on the database, and they shouldn't be. The transformations are heavier on the database and should be used sparingly. Should be used to achieve your goal, for sure. And then a lot of times we look at those transformations and say, like, what are you trying to solve? Maybe we can do it a different way in the application. But the triggers are fine. So just look through here and see, right? Assigning regions, list opt out, taking people out of lists, possible, sending the tax acknowledgments, et cetera, et cetera. Just take a look. But I want to let you know, contact list assign is what we're going to use, obviously, because we want to take the query, we want to run it through the trigger, and then we want to put it on a schedule, which is I'm going to do next, right? So let me see. Select contact list assign. Go next, right? And then select the data source, which is this query, 69207. Oh, 69207. Okay, contacts created today is correct. We go next. The settings here, this is where you add the list. Okay, so you see there's multiple things you can do here. You can clear out the groups, clear out the tags, clear out the lists, add to list, add to tags, add to groups. I want to call these out, even though it says contact list assign, right? So add to opt-in list. I forget what I called it, which is pretty typical. New welcome list. Okay. Back to the trigger job. New welcome. New welcome list. There it is. Okay. Same thing. Email notifications. Again, I just don't like these. There's not necessary for me because the job is short. So then what are the notifications for? When the job is long, obviously, right? So if you have 1,000 contacts, ask it to do something, it's going to take a minute. So we're going to email you when we're done so you can come take a look, right? Just wanted to say that because I'm always turning those off, but they have some value, and that's the value for sure. Right. So next, here's just a review page. This is what I want to do, right? I want to process it, continue. And again, right, I need to this is the first run on this one. I need to verify what I do was right. But again, if you want to set up that recurring schedule right now, we give you the opportunity to do that here in this pop-up, right? But I would want to import, I want to view the import status. It says there was 2 and there was 2 affected. It says successfully affected. So I hope that's true. Let me go to my people. And if I go April and May, go to the person contact record now, I should be able to see this. Lists, right? I'm going to take you through this whole screen here in a minute with the contact management, but new welcome list. There you go, it was assigned. So the trigger job added them to the new list based on the query results. The query results were give me everybody who was added to the database today, right? They could have been added today and already added to this list. It's fine to pump them through again just to make sure that they're there, right? So that keeps the query not as complex, right? By just saying grab everybody, it's no big deal. If they're already in list, we're not removing them from all and adding this one. This is an additional list if they didn't get added to it. Saying if they came from a form and the list there was the dog and cat list, they're still going to show up in the query as a new contact that was created today, and we're going to add them to the welcome list and send them that welcome email, right? Okay, great, perfect. So it did work. It did work. So then what's the last step here to do is we need to put it onto a schedule. So from here, we know this is done. All we need to do now is schedule it, right? And what are the considerations for the schedule? The considerations for the schedule are the timing between the query and the timing between the schedule or the trigger. So the query says we're gathering up contacts from today. So we wouldn't want to run that in the morning because the day has just begun. We're going to miss those ones that came in the afternoon. So if we're doing today, then the trigger needs to run at night. Okay. Just another quick one you can do is yesterday, right? But to me, that's almost like a day behind, right? But there is some considerations for doing that. Give me everything in this query from yesterday and then do this to it in the morning, right? Like that. But to me, I just like to grab them today and run it at 9 p.m., 10 p.m. That way they're in the list and ready to go the next day. So they signed up maybe, today or whatever. Let's see, is there a difference between yesterday and today? Now my mind is telling me there might not be any difference. I'm not sure. You can figure it out on your own, right? Apologize for that. Excellent. Let's put it on a new schedule. This is going to be welcome email send. It's active. If you add no dates here, it starts right away. There's no reason to put a date in here unless it's going to start later. There's an until option, so you can run it between a specific time period, right? It's automatically pulling in my data job. That's all I need to do is click save. Then you're going to see these tabs kind of spit out here like Charity Engine does. One of them is going to be email notifications. So if you want to add some recipients to receive this report, just to make sure it's running every day, et cetera, you can change the subject, mark it important, but the triggers is the most important thing I want to show you. So I'm going to run this every day. And you see how many triggers, oops, you see how many triggers we have here, right? There's plenty. So then the day, what time in the day? I said I was going to run this at like 10 p.m., something like that, and done. And then I'm going to add the trigger. Okay, great. That is done. So how do I see it? How do I manage it? Okay, it's now where all your other scheduled jobs are at. It's under the job scheduler, which is automation again, of course. Automation, general, job scheduler. Come here, we're going to see it. Again, I like this today concept, trimming this stuff, and here we are. Contact list assigned, it's active, it has one trigger, hasn't had any jobs yet done. It's the welcome send email. So very self-explanatory. Everything is named correctly. I understand what it does. And if I needed to manage it, I could come over here and manage it and change any of these parameters I need to. What kind of parameters, Brian? Recipients, email, notification recipients. I can add an additional trigger for some reason if I needed it, right? And then the general page, you just are looking at your history, your next jobs, and your description, right? So that's the whole thing, top to bottom. That's how that's how that's done. You know what I'm going to do for everybody is look into that campaign series and see if you can push this into a communication series from here. You totally should be able to. But I was looking at if we didn't, because the advanced communication series, it costs, right? So I'm always trying to solve without the spend, but if it's critical that you create your own defined queries and push those people into then it may be valuable for you to do that, right? Of course. But I'll check it out for you. I'll check it out for you. I'll let you know on the next one. We got tips and trips. Tips and tricks next. So I'll make sure to just put that one in there. Uzo, don't let me forget, please. Okay. The second thing I wanted to show you today was just the contacts. I want to see if I can find some contacts that have some history here. So bear with me. I'm not going to do it today. I'm going to do something like last month.
Sorry, guys. I think he's frozen. We'll just give him a little bit. See if Brian comes back.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Okay, we can hear you.
Okay. I do believe it's on my side because I've received an error here in Charity Engine. So I was disconnected. So I apologize for that. It has to be on my end for sure. But you can hear me now, Uzo?
Yes, I hear you. We don't see you, but probably best to maybe turn off your camera.
Well, that's probably best you don't see me, right? I hear you, Uzo. I'm just joking.
Okay.
Let me go to last month. Is that what you were going to say? Probably best we don't see Brian. I'm just joking. I can see myself. That's all I care about. I see myself. I'm going to try to make it through here. I gave you guys the dynamic list, guys, gals, the dynamic list. That was really the meat of what I wanted to show you. I'm going to go over some contact stuff just to point out some things that may not be just visible right from the start. So I was telling you, wanted to go to last month to find some contacts that had a little bit of data in it. Right, this one has like lifetime total. So I'm just going to open this up, take a look.
Brian, are you there? No, still frozen. Apologies, everyone. Looks like Brian has lost his internet connection. Just be patient. I think he should be back pretty shortly. So maybe a couple minutes and we'll see, okay? Thank you so much.
Uzo?
There you are.
Yeah, I went to my
Everyone,
hotspot on my phone. Apologize
oh,
to everybody about that, but I should
yeah.
be better now. I'm using the phone,
Okay.
but it's definitely Wi-Fi at my house for sure.
Yeah. Everyone's been patient. We appreciate it.
Ah, thank you, Uzo. You're right. Thank you. I'm scrambling over here. I forgot the audience. You're right. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. Technical difficulties happen, but it's always embarrassing, right? For sure. Even if you can't do anything about it, but that's the way it is. Um, I wanted to show you some things around the contact record that you may not know. I do feel like I'm stable on my internet with my hotspot, but I'll go through them
Um,
quickly and we'll get out of here. Go ahead.
One question from Christine before we move on to contacts is asking if we
For
can
sure.
reuse the scheduled report by managing or updating the dates to run.
Yeah, totally. Totally. Let's go take a look. Um, saying that it's running and you'd like to pause it, or or I guess the use case that comes to my mind, something like that, but you can manage it here. And your dates are still here. You still have available date fields to fill out, and it will adhere to that, right? And what it's doing there. That's definitely the root of the question, right? I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. And an indicator that you're doing it correctly. Okay, this is a great question. It's a great question because just like sustainers, we lay down the next job run right after we do this job run. Okay, let me show you that. If I can, I'm going to find a scheduled job. What's the effect? The effect is that if you change the dates here to stop it, you're going to see that the next job is already teed up. You have to go stop that job. Okay, let me see if I can find that. Job scheduler, I'm going to do, let's just do all. Can't be too many in here. Okay, so QuickBooks Sync, it ran today, right? It says there's 3 jobs. If I go in here and click this jobs, right, I'm going to show you something. New pending. Do you see? New pending. This one's already here. If I hover above the dates, you'll see that it was added 6/13 for 6/13. Well, I guess it's a daily job. I was looking for something that had some time into it to show you, but this is fine. You can totally see that the job for the 13th is teed up here already at 7 in the morning, right? So if you wanted to stop this job, change the dates, etc., you would absolutely need to manipulate the scheduler with the dates, but then also click the jobs, go through to the jobs, and then this one here that's ready to go, it's going to go off, right? So then you just come in here and you will hit the settings, and there should be a way to deactivate it here or just delete it. Either one of those, schedule, rerun. This one already ran. Why do I get rerun? Let's see. Here you go. Now let's put it on a schedule. Let's put it on a schedule. This is a bad example, y'all. This is a bad example. Let me, because it says a rerun there. I don't know why. Let's do something that has multiples here. I'm gonna try one more time to find some multiples, and then I'll move on. But what I'm telling you is absolutely true for sure. No triggers, data jobs. Here's 54. Let's see what's going on there. Yeah, now no, says get this one's done as well. It's nothing. These are jobs are old, old. Yeah, to 2025 to 2025 to 2025. Here's 403. The last one was run today. Gonna be my last check now. This is gonna be my last check. New pending row 0, 613, cancel. Right, cancel. So not sure what was going on with the other jobs, but this is what you would expect to see on a regular running schedule. So if you wanted to stop this job here, you would go to the schedule, which you can see right here. You could put in your new dates or deactivate it here. But again, make sure you're coming here and deleting that or canceling this last run here, right? If you just click continue, it's going to be like canceled, right? There it is, canceled, right? Okay, that turned into a really good question, by the way. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Okay, excellent. So at the contact record level, just some really quick things I wanted to call out, right? This here, additional actions, is something that's rarely used, but has some powerful options inside of it. So copy, did you know you could copy and do that? Right? You can copy this contact record, right? Why would you want to? You tell me. But it's powerful that you can instead of having to recreate it, right? For me, it's like testing purposes, but I know that's not what the use is for. Find matches, right? Just organically finding matches because there's something wrong here. There should be 5 transactions, but I only see 3. So it was a new contact created. You know what I mean? I can go out here and find matches and say no matches found. Okay, so I can eliminate that from my mind, right? Something like the Wealth Engine Sync, of course. Anonymize. You can anonymize the entire contact through one click here. Or something new to me is you can actually delete this contact from within the contact record, right? Instead of having to go back out and select and then delete from there, right? So this is something I wanted to call out here for sure. There's some options in there that might be valuable to you. This is the history. Wanted to show you that as well. There's no real reason to get into the change logs unless you're really investigating something at a low level, but I just wanted to show you that the created data and the updated data are here. If you view the change history, you're going to be able to see those laid out here. So um, we created a payment profile on 521, right? The system created the contact on 518, right? Things like that, right? But again, I don't go here too much. I don't think you need to go too much either. What I did want to show you here was the edit button, and I know everybody totally knows the edit button and knows what it does, and it takes you over to the edit screen. But what I wanted to show you here was that this is where we hold your contact custom fields, right? So the difference being when people start working with those contact custom fields, they come down here and they'll know that they're stored here. It's another thing I wanted to tell you when I get down here, but it's true. If I just blast my way to the end here, you're going to see my custom groups or objects, I think they're called now. They're going to start coming up here. Medical information, affected person, additional, right? These are all my custom fields. And you can see there's race, there's appeal, right? Under this one, medical information, treatment type, but what is this, right? So then the feedback we get is you can't add anything here. No, you can't. It's just visible. So then you're adding over here in the edit section, right? I wanted to say that. And then down here, you can have treatment type is type 2, 3. Save it, go back, I think it was called medical, right? Oh, it took me, well, charity engine. It was awesome. It took me back to the last record detail. That's great. That really helped because now I can see type 1, 2, 3 here is an answer. So you look as soon as immediately when I look at it, maybe one could be bolded, one not, right? To kind of call it out. We'll work on things like that if we find it applicable. But I wanted to show you what it looks like to have a question and an answer, right? And this is where you would manually put those answers in. I know a lot of people are working at like a form level and creating contact custom fields and pumping data in that way. And all that's great. But if you have to make a manual entry, this is how you do it, right? And sometimes you do have to make a manual entry or change an entry. Or sometimes people do like a free text field and it's like what's in there is not right, right? We need to go change it or whatever. I definitely wanted to show you that as well. So badges, I know everybody knows about. I haven't called out the help center yet. Let me see if we have an article on badges. Oh boy. There you go. Okay, let's see. DGS without that funny work. Okay, how to add a badge to a contact record. Here it is, right? So this is pretty, you saw me search. That was easy to find. Some are not so easy because they're in a comprehensive article, but this one is super simple to find and it's right here. And it'll tell you all you need to know about badges and all you need to know about how to configure them. I just wanted to say this about badges. I think they're great. I think they're a great call out right here at the top of the record. And I wanted to call out the fact that your organization has the capability to create custom type badges for your audience that are specific to you. I want to give you a warning. It requires a query, right? But if you know the criteria you're looking for to create the badge, if you put in a case, we can help you with the query. It doesn't mean we can solve the query for you, but we can totally guide you on how to create it and use it, right? So just know that custom badges are available along with the system badges. Are you a donor? Are you a registrant, right? All of these are just system badges you just turn on, right? Okay, great. Where would you turn those on? You'd be back in the edit screen, right? And then you see the badges here. These are our system badges here. VIP, volunteer, affected person, right? Says my internet's low again. Looks like it's doing all right. VIP, volunteer, affected person. You can make selections on those if you'd like, right? Okay, excellent. Then of course, down here in the middle, we have the financial details, right? So we have a graphical representation of what here? Well, this person, if I do transactions, we can see this person, it says they have three, two were zero amount, one was 5250, right? Or rounding up here, 5253 to the lifetime total, right? Like rounding up to 53. So we can see that in May, they gave that at 53, right? But here's one that people don't see very often, and it's the breakdown of, and I know we only have one here, bear with me, but it's the breakdown of the direct amount versus the attributed amount, right? And then we have the totals here. This is going to come into play when we look at an organization, and we're going to look at one in a second because I don't want to take too long. But I'm going to show you some of the roll-up totals and things like that. Okay. Another thing that people miss here is totally calendar versus fiscal. Okay. So just make sure you're in the view that you want to view, and then also there's filtering here for the kind, right? So those two things are missed often. The graph is looked at, but you can absolutely filter here for whatever you think needs to be filtered for the revenue, right? But this behind here is, well, it needs to be used more to answer questions about the transaction breakdown and how does the lifetime total accumulate, right? Like that. Excellent. That's enough about that, right? And then the key thing over here I want to call out is the communications. I think everybody knows about this, right? But it's so important that if you have any questions about why didn't the email send, why didn't they receive it, et cetera, this is the first place to come look. Why is this the first place, Brian? This is the first place because the checkbox on all the public assets that say, I would like to receive communication from your organization are connected directly to this communication panel. So if you come out of communications from a form, we're going to be taking you out. It would look like this, right? If you check in to the communications, we're turning you on, more of them, right? But we're turning you on. I think all of them except solicit, right? We're turning those on from the form, right? So this is what the donors or registrants are controlling on their own, turning on and off. So this is why you come here first, to see what has happened, right? I also want to tell you that there is opt-outs at different levels. You can opt out of the list. That keeps this on because you're only coming out of that marketing communication, right? Also, what else do I want to say about the list? I don't know. That's okay. I'm going to move on. But the communication preferences down here, right? So if this shows the in and out, right? So we see that email is on now, but we see today there was changes. And then what were the changes made to? What were the changes to the communication, and how were they made, and who made them? Okay. So this kind of goes like this. This person said they didn't receive an email. Okay. And then we get a case. Why didn't this person receive an email? But just take this step forward. Take this step forward. Go to the communications on the record and see if they're off. If they're off, that is 95% of the reason that they don't receive it. 95% of the reason that they don't receive it. And then you can come down to the communication preferences and you can see why. It'll say something like email, opt out, source, web form. Well, how do I know what web form? Well, you're going to go to the transactions then, because every web form creates a transaction. So you go to the last transaction. It's not going to show it here, but just show you. I keep putting a Q in transactions. Why is that, Brian? I don't know. Come on. transactions, and you would come to the last one. You say, the multi-step form, right? Right. So you could go there and see like this. Is there anything wrong with this form? Is it not called out appropriately? Why would this person opt out if they didn't intend to? Right. Like that. And you could just take a look. That probably doesn't even have an opt out on that form. I'm just saying. Right. I'm just saying the communication panel is key that way. One more thing I want to show you connected to the communication panel is the fact that, and I call this out all the time. You just may not know. You have to know. You have to know what's going on here. And I'm gonna start speeding up because we got to get out of here, right? The default settings, I believe it's in the default settings. Deliverability. No. Uzo, save me. Uzo, save me. You paying attention? I'm doing communication
What are you
preferences
looking for?
compliant mode. Yeah, it's got to be in account settings, right?
Yes,
Let's see.
let me see. So about legacy versus compliance, yeah.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
It's
Online.
it's
Form.
settings. Is in
Account
configuration
settings.
contacts.
Contacts. Thank you, Uzo. I appreciate it. I always mess that one up. I always mess that
Yeah,
one up.
it's
Very
fine.
good Help Center article about that as well, if y'all look it up. And it's under contacts, settings. Yeah, that would be the last place I would personally go. Not that it's in the wrong place. It's obviously in the right place. So here, we're in compliant mode. What does compliant mode mean? It means that when I create a manual contact, all communications are off. Done, period. That's the way it is. If I turn it to legacy mode, when I create a new contact manually, all communications are on, right? So this is what happens. I import a list. I don't turn them on. I send an email to that list, and then I have put in a case. And I say, Brian, Uzo, Clay, Sarah, what's going on, right? Why didn't these people receive that email? So I'm saying instead of putting in that case, come and check your mode. If you don't want to be in compliant mode, switch it to legacy. It's totally up to you. We have another really good Help Center article about this. It'll explain it all to you. If I just do this, legacy mode, I believe. Yeah, legacy versus compliance. You can read all about it, why you would want to do one versus the other. But you could then say, oh, I'm in compliant mode, so the communications must have been off. I come to the person, I see, the email is off, right? So now I can just turn the email onto these people and resend that email. We can move on with life, right? A couple things I just want to call out here, and then we'll move on, was just the really cool stuff here that I really love this customization on the contact record. So you see that I can single select from a pre-populated dropdown, or I can search. You totally see that, right? That's to find something around here. But if I wanted to arrange these in an order that made more sense to me, I totally could. Like timeline doesn't make any sense to me. It's actually the custom field called program details that's most important to me. I need to see it first, then the medical information. And this is per contact, not per org. So each person would have to do this. I'm going to apply my new ordering. And now you see, I'll even refresh the contact record for you. And we'll see here, now I have the program participation is up front in my face where I want it, right? Okay, excellent. And then we can turn them off as well, right? So it's like if I didn't want to do timeline or description or activities, I could turn those off and I could apply. Those don't apply to my organization. I'm turning them off, I'm letting them go. I don't need them, right? Those are two really cool things there. The other thing that really trips people up here is the filter. There's a filter on most panels that has applicable filtering. Transactions is one of them. Okay, so what'll happen is like so-and-so Jessica says, hey, I tried to come in through a web form and I was declined. I don't understand what's going on, right? So you're like, oh, I want to help Jessica. You come to her record, you come to the transactions, but you don't see the declined transaction. So you say, oh, Jessica, it never even came through. You put in a case to Charity Engine, you're like, ghost transaction, something like that, like missing, transaction missing, right? But actually, you're just viewing paid only. This is the default, is paid only. So if you want to see all, like I had it set to all, you need to say, I want to see all, or only decline, right? Set to all. Now you're going to see all your transactions. There's filtering across tons of these panels. You need to pay attention to it, or you're not getting the full breadth of the data that you would expect. And we get a lot of cases on that, I'm telling you. So then what can I expect? If I refresh this screen, I'll show you. And then I go back to transactions, and then I hit this filter. Sticky filtering applies here as well, right? Sticky filtering is when I go to a screen and I apply filters. When I leave that screen, when I come back, we pre-apply that filter set for you, right? So here you'll see I changed my filter, I refreshed my contact, and now my filter is set for all. Okay, what complications does this create? We get cases about this too, right? They say, oh, there's something wrong with my user account because I can see decline transaction here, but Jessica cannot, right? Same thing. You just totally forgot that you set the sticky filtering. Just please remember that the filters are here. The filters are here. And most people view contact records in this manner. So it's very important that you know that. Activities, you can see filtering. What? For types, for status, for all. It can narrow it down, right? If you know that there's a particular type you're looking for, you don't have to search through this whole thing and open it up, right? Same thing. Cases, same thing. Filtering, right? Event registrations, filtering, right? Okay, I just wanted to show you that. That's the last thing. That's the full hour. Thank everybody so much. Uzo, if we don't have any questions, we're just going to close it up. Just let me know.
The question that I have, we've answered it. If for some reason you have additional questions, please don't hesitate to put in a case. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
There we go.
I agree. Yeah, Uzo going to answer all those cases. We'll answer them as a group. We'll answer them as a group.
No
Excellent.
worries.
Thank you. Have a great weekend, everybody. The recording will come out. We'll send it to you. Always keep interacting with us. It's like our mission to get information out there and help people with Charity Engine. And I personally feel we're very good at it. Technology is a tough thing to wrangle and hold on to, but I do believe we're doing a good job. So please interact with us with cases, sign up for the next webinar, and we will see you soon. Have a great weekend.
Bye.